All right, let's take a little look at what is happening in your foot to help set up a strong foundation for you to push off of. We want to think about that just like anywhere in our body, we want our foot to be able to eccentrically lengthen and concentrically contraction. The eccentrically lengthening part is about shock absorption, about pushing yourself into the ground so that now you are spring-loaded to push yourself back out of it. So what we can think about is that in order to have a strong push-off, we need to have a solid foundation, and that means a strong arch. If the arch isn't able to engage and lock out, then you're not going to have a good position to be able to push off that can affect not just your calf, but also up in your hip. So what we're going to do is we're going to add some strengthening to that area and then apply that connection to the calf raise. You might have done some yoga toes before where you've worked on bringing your toes down, the big toe lifting up and vice versa. Now we're going to add some load to it so that you can work on some eccentric lengthening of those muscles to then be able to concentrically contract. The thing with this is as we go to press down, we want to make sure that we don't scrunch down. Scrunching down is going to get our long flexors, and those muscle bellies are up in our calf. That can contribute to having more calf tightness if you're always using those muscles to stabilize yourselves. Instead, we want to think about really pressing your entire foot or toes down into the ground, and those muscle bellies are the shorter ones that are actually in your arch and midfoot. So what we're going to do here is you're going to take a band, and we're going to go just under your toes, but not under your big toe. All right? So you're going to pull up with just a little bit of tension. These muscles aren't very big, so they don't need a lot of load to them. And then you're going to let your knee stay soft. As your knee is soft, we're making sure the backside of your heel doesn't lift up. If the backside of your heel lifts up, now you're all loaded through your toes, and they're going to have a really hard time lifting up. So you might have to kind of shift back, find the outside of your heel, then shift forward to find the front, maybe inside of your heel a little bit, and then you're going to pull up with that band. Now you're going to slowly let the band win, letting those toes come up, not because you're lifting your toes up, but because you're letting the band kind of pull it up, but not so much that then they just like fly up, right? So we're trying to feel that eccentric lengthening of those intrinsic foot muscles. Now you're going to press down, making sure you're not scrunching, and then you're going to slowly lift back up again. So we're going up and down like that a few times, bringing some of that awareness. You're making sure as you're letting those toes lift up, you're not lifting off of where your toes connect into your foot. So after you do that a few times, now you're going to press down, and now we're going to bring the calf raise into it. So you're going to think about lifting that heel up, making sure it's coming from the backside of your calf here, lifting your heel up rather than pulling it from the front of your shin or from your quad. So you've got that tension, you're pressed down, your knee is pointed over your second and third toe, so you got a good line to push off from. And then you're gonna lift up, feeling that heel lift up, keeping that press down as you now slowly lower that heel back down, not letting that knee straighten out with it. That's gonna help get more opening through the backside of that Achilles and lower calf. So up and down. Hopefully with that, you're feeling a little bit more awareness in that arch and feeling a better place to be able to push off from. Now we're going to go with the big toe. So we're going to do the same thing, but we're just going to capture the big toe. So you're going to go underneath the base of that big toe, and you're going to do all the same ideas. Knee is soft without overly loading the front of your feet with your weight. You're going to slowly let the band pull that toe up as best you can. And then you're going to press it back down without scrunching. And you're also making sure when you press down that you don't teeter-totter over to it, right? So we're slowly letting it come up and then pressing back down. Now we've got that press down, and you're going to lift that heel up. That other foot's just acting like a kickstand as much as you need to. You can hold on to something for stability. If things feel too unstable at first, your muscles aren't going to work like they're supposed to work. They're going to be too busy gripping to try to hold you there. So don't be afraid to progress into it and hold on to something at first. And then as things feel easier, you can increase that challenge by not holding on to anything. So going up and down like that. That should hopefully, again, make you feel your arch a little bit more and connect into that calf. That then, now when you go to walk, step up, do any pushing off moves, because you're able to push off from more of a solid foundation and get more of a forward propulsion, that's going to help you get more of a direct back push off with that glute max in your hips instead of flinging your leg out to the side or whipping your heel around with it. Knowing too that as we go to work on these foot things, sometimes we need a little bit of loosening up beforehand. So if you're having a hard time connecting, go ahead and give your foot a little 5-minute massage. Rub in between, wiggle the parts around, roll it on a ball, any of that good stuff to kind of get things loosened up so that then you can dynamically connect to those muscles and individual parts a little bit more easily. Also knowing too that a little bit of good intention goes a long way. So even if it's not perfect at first, think about that last rep was better than that first rep, and that's going to continue to push you further forward into the connections in your body and making it happy.